Hello everyone and welcome back to a blind let's play Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth. My name is FlightlessBird, this is your Sorbet channel, and today, well, I don't know what we're doing today. We're trying to figure out the rest of this mystery and we're here to talk to Bad. And of course I had to click on the examine. Actually, that was different. Something about the bars. I suppose you're right. Actually, that's not true. I bet a person with small stature could slip in. Francisca, would you care to help me test my theory? Erg! Drat, I must remember to be more tactful around the vertically challenged. Oh, it's so good. Ah. Hope we have a wonderful day today. Earlier, you were in lobby number 1, and now you're here in lobby number 2. You're quite the busy man, Detective Bad. Multiple returns to a crime scene brings about success. That's what we detectives say. I see. In that case, you wouldn't mind if I asked about what happened again, correct? I don't have anything left to say to you, boy. Boy, you'll see. I will draw my answer from you one way or another. Would it kill you to help us even a tiny little bit in your investigation? I gave Faraday's notebook to the judge earlier. Well, that's help enough, don't you think? Arg. Please, we are asking you for just a little bit more of your cooperation. Don't push me, kid. Time of the murder. I'd like to ask once again about what happened around here at the time of the crime. I refuse to answer. Any more investigating you do would be a waste of time. Besides, how am I supposed to answer questions about things I don't know about? Things you don't know about? But aren't you supposed to know everything? He should. Wait, is it possible? Maybe he doesn't know about the trick behind that piece of evidence. I should try showing it to him. It may prove to be the key to getting some answers from Detective Bad. Alright, well, you don't have to be so on the nose there, Ace Attorney. Detective Bad, do you know of the existence of the item in this photograph? Of course I did. It's my job to know everything related to the Yatagaratsu case. In that case, let me ask you something. Did you know that the knife that killed Mr. Faraday and this Yatagaratsu's knife, key, are one and the same? What? Well, that's impossible. It looks like he did it though after the piece of evidence which we call the Yatagaratsu's key is actually a well-camouflaged knife. The dots. Mr. Faraday was planning to use this Yatagaratsu's key to prove that Mr. Rell was not the real Yatagaratsu. Isn't that correct? I guess so. However, Mr. Faraday had no idea that was, in fact, a knife. Well, yeah, I had to admit, neither one of us knew that fact. And if neither of us knew, then no one in law enforcement knew either. How did we miss something as big as this? I noticed that since a little while ago, you appear to be searching for something. I presume that this key is what you were searching for. The exclamation dots. Yeah, that's right. And why were you searching for it? Because I promised Faraday. I promised that I'd protect that key with my life. But after he was killed, the key disappeared from Faraday's evidence bag. Who would have thought that the key is what took Faraday's life? Detective Bad, so that we may find the truth, please testify for me once more. Alright. But it doesn't matter how many times I tell you about what happened. Nothing will change. Time of the murder. Detective Bad, I ask that you please testify once more about what happened in lobby number 2 and what you experienced in lobby number 1. My answer is still the same, and this is the last time I'm going to do this. Well, that's fine, because I only need this one last time to clear everything up and find the truth behind this case. Detective Bad's movement. I was in lobby number 1, talking with you. We were talking about some trivial things. I heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. When we heard it, you and I immediately dashed out into the hallway together. I saw a gumshoe goofing around there, and then we all ran into lobby number 2. It sounds like the exact same story he told us before. Indeed, however, I feel that we have yet to draw out all the information that we can. Dr. Bad's movements. Are we ready for this? Are we ready for this? Because I don't know if I am. But we'll see what happens. I was in lobby number 1, talking with you. Why did Miss Yu choose lobby number 1? The Duts. Answer me! Who knows? She just said that she had something she wanted to talk to me about. And we walked into lobby number 1 together, that's all. So his answer remains the same as before, I see. And we were talking about some trivial things. I was hoping you could expand on what exactly you were discussing with Miss Yu. Trivial stuff. It was nothing important. That's for me to decide. The dots. Oh, the double dots. I can outlast you in the dot staring contest. Alright, I suppose that's for him to decide. Moving on then. I heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. Alright, forgot. My bad. Until you heard the gunshot, did you notice anything else that was out of the ordinary? I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot. If the gunshot Detective Bad heard was really the one from the murder, that would give that other piece of evidence an entirely different meaning. I ask that you please amend your testimony with that statement just now. Sure. What piece of evidence? I hate it when the game does that. It's like Gumshoe knows, Edgeworth was, but I don't know. Maybe Gumshoe knows too. I'm like the last one to know anything. I didn't hear any of the strange sounds until that gunshot. Detective Bad, you honestly don't remember anything else? Yeah. Is it possible you were so involved in your conversation that you missed something? I've been a detective for a long time, and even if I were involved in something, I got quite the habit of keeping tabs on everything that goes around me. There had been some other strange sound, you can be sure I would have heard it. I suppose with this detective, that's probably very likely. So the gunshot, when we heard it, you and I immediately dashed out into the hallway together. And why did the two of you dash into the hallway straight away? Because we clearly heard the sound of a gunshot. And we knew it came from somewhere nearby. And how did you know it was a gunshot? In my line of work, I hear enough of them to know. I suppose it's only natural for a detective to know what a real gunshot sounds like. Was he thinking that maybe he heard the balloon? But given the circumstances, the only person I could think of whose life would have been in danger was Faraday. That's why I ran out of the hallway right away and heard it from where he was. I saw Gumshoe goofing around there, and then we all ran into lobby number 2. Detective Gumshoe was there in the hallway. Yeah. Why did you attest to that earlier? When I saw Gumshoe, it was after I heard the gunshot. Having seen him then didn't change the fact that he still could have done the deed. Arg. It sounds exactly what Detective Bad told us before. However, is there something in particular if I should be asking the detective about? There just might be. No one knew that the knife is actually the Yatagatsu's key. Reflecting on that, perhaps there are other things we know now that Detective Bad doesn't. Yes, that should be my angle of attack. So I'm thinking this is a balloon. Because here's the thing. He says, I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot. How did you not hear the balloon? I mean, if you're so sure that a gunshot sounds like a gunshot and you know what a gunshot sounds like, you would have easily heard the balloon before this. Huzzah! 1 for 1 to start the day. Detective Bad, does this balloon fragment remind you of anything? It's the same color as the one Kay was holding. Oh, so you knew about that ghost balloon? Yeah, I was sitting with her up in the gallery. During the recess, just before we split up, I filled that balloon up for her. Well, as you may have already surmised, this piece did indeed come from Kay's balloon. So, what about the balloon? I wonder if you might remember hearing this balloon pop at some point. What are you getting at? This fragment was found in the hallway right in front of lobby number 2. Furthermore, it was the sound of this balloon popping that the judge mistook as a gunshot. Oh, so the sound that the judge heard was not actually a gunshot, huh? On top of that, His Honor has said that he heard the balloon pop about 20 minutes before the trial was to reconvene. Yes, which means that His Honor heard the balloon pop in the hallway. When you were in lobby number 1, Detective Bad. And if you were in lobby number 1 at that time, you were close enough that you should have heard the balloon popping as well. So, what? Don't give me a so. Yeah, it's like all the music's just stopped. Faye just proved that there's a flaw in your testimony. The crackling of the truth is louder than the sound of a sweet naivete cracking. And since you kids don't seem to know, let me fill you in on something. Did you ever stop to think why the doors and walls of this place seem so rugged? That's because they were designed to keep secrets from being leaked. But what is that supposed to mean? Well, the doors and walls are super thick. The window panes are double layered. To top it all up, even the curtains are made of a special sound-absorbing material. Then you mean... Since I was shut up in lobby number 1, there was no way I could have heard that sound. No. Gurk. I knew that's what he was going to say. I don't think so, Edgeworth. Then that means that Scarface's testimony is completely useless. If the rooms are soundproof, then of course he wouldn't hear any sound of a struggle. Nego. What is with these weird noises? Hey, FlightlessBird, what's with you doing all the dots? I mean, if the dots are written in the game, and the character stops to say nothing, then if you just click through it, you don't know that there was a pause. So the dots are my way of saying that the character paused and doesn't want to say anything, and that's, I mean, it's a lot better than just clicking through them mindlessly. Or at least that's what I do. I mean, that's what I don't do. I do something else. Well, that's right. That's also why it's only natural. We Besides, it's part of the things that make your FlightlessBird's gameplay different from other people's gameplay, I guess. I really love to get involved in the characters and the story, and that's just me trying to get more into the character's head. I don't hear the balloon popping. Now, do you get it, kids?
Miles, I thought Faye was supposed to be the ones finding flaws in his logic. Not the other way around.
The other way around? It's not possible to hear the sound of a balloon popping if one were in lobby number 1. However, if we examine the situation in reverse, a person standing in the hallway should not be able to hear the real gunshot either. And yet, Detective Gumshoe claims to have heard it while he was standing in the hallway. Detective Bad, if that is the case, how exactly did you hear the gunshot? It's because the windows were open? What do you mean? How? I just did. It would appear that you have yet to realize the contradiction in your own words. Oh, how so? If the rooms are as soundproof as you say they are, then how did the sound of the gunshot enter your ears? Oh, the exclamated dots. I see what you mean. I guess I'm more out of it from Friday's murder than I had thought.
Which means what exactly, Miles? In the end, what does it all boil down to?
It boils down to this. There must be a reason as to how Detective Bad and Gumshoe heard a gunshot they theoretically couldn't have.
It looks like they need to examine the state of the crime scene again, huh?
Oh, the exclamated dots. The state of the crime scene. Wait, can it be? It's that ultra strong perfume he wears. She spills some of it. A window was open to allow the perfume, which means everyone heard it.
Ah!
And way too noisy. Lobby number 2's television looks like it was set to an incredibly high volume.
The surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go?
Where did the surveillance tape from Miss Friday's bag disappear off to? This is really cool, by the way it's doing this. Alright, the scent of flowers is in the air. So it smells. It's simply not possible for the killer to have escaped through barred windows. And yet, the fragrance of the perfume managed to escape from defendant lobby number 1. Of course, incorporeal things can move freely through these open, barred windows. Oh, this is really cool. The tape went out the window? Nope. The pieces don't fit together quite right. I don't think these match. But I don't know how these match. Maybe the high volume blocks sound? Now then, what else besides the smell could go both in and out of an open barred window? So he means sound. The answer is sound. So no matter how careful the killer was, if the windows were open, the jig would be up. And since the windows of both defendant lobby number 1 and the hallway were open, that explains how the sound of a gunshot could be heard in both locations. Only thing left? The missing piece of evidence is a video. I really love those logic things. I wish there was more done with them. Like, you had like 8 pieces of logic and only 1 right answer, and you had it, or not 8, that would be ridiculous, but maybe, you know, more than 5, 6, 7. and there was like only one answer and you had to piece for the evidence to figure out what the answer was, I thought it would be really cool. The missing piece of evidence is a video that shows the moment in which Mr. Rell killed the embassy staff member. The sound of the gunshot left quite an impression on me when it was played during the trial. The video should have been returned in Mr. Faraday's evidence bag for the recess. So was the sound the TV? Like someone put the video inside here? And that's where the video is? The video is literally here right now? And someone played it, which made the really loud sound that traveled through the windows? And brought back here. If it disappeared after that time, then it's possible that the tape is still here in this room. Eureka! The evidence that the missing evidence created for me is the gunshot sound that no one should have been able to hear in the first place.
Miles, what have you been thinking about? Stop wasting time thinking, and let's start looking again.
It's not a waste of time to think, for I figured out where we should look.
And where would that be?
I believe we should examine the television. The TV. Well, you kids have fun. Go ahead and examine whatever you like. I won't mess, yeah. It's gonna be the this thing right here. It's a video player, and there seems to be a videotape inside.
It looks like it. The tape must have stopped on its own when it reached the end of the end.
This tape. Could it not be the missing surveillance tape?
Oh, the deaths! Exclamations! Exactly! I suppose, but...
Detective Bad, would it be alright with you if I verify the contents of this video? Sure. Knock yourself out.
Alright, then let's rewind this and let's see what we have.
If I remember correctly, the footage of Rell killing the embassy staff member should be at about the 30-minute mark from the start of the tape. Understood. This should be about right. Now then, let's see. I don't know if that was Edgeworth who said that previous line, but whatever.
And this is the footage of Mr. Val shooting the embassy staff member.
I knew it. The missing piece of evidence, the surveillance video, was here all along. This sound, what's the meaning of this? It appears that Detective Bad has figured out the true source of the gunshot he heard. With this, I think we can figure out the trick behind this double murder.
Do you mean that you figured it all out then?
Yes. All I have to do now is show what the gunshot detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from.
Ang! Fine! In that case, show me what you've deduced.
Now to show what the gunshot detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from. So basically, deduce and video. I'm on a roll right now. Oh God, why did I say that? Now I'm gonna start to mess up. If the door and windows to this crime scene, namely this room that went in, were closed, the killer could have used the gun and no one would have been the wiser.
That's true. This courthouse doesn't be well designed for such a thing as a fair.
However, what happened in reality was Detective Gumshoe, Detective Bad, and Miss Yu. All three of them heard the gunshot.
Well, the windows in lobby number 1 and number 2 in the hallway were open. So naturally, the people in these locations could hear it.
But then, why would the criminal open the window in the first place?
To allow the gunshot to be heard, I suppose.
Correct. That's the only logical conclusion we could draw from this.
But why was that necessary in the first place? I want a real answer, Miles. I demand satisfaction.
Very well. I believe that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of a certain fact. What was it that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of? When the crime took place. The killer wanted to fabricate the time of death to the precise wishes, and they used a gunshot in the surveillance video to do so.
So, that's why the tape was left running.
You mean, the gunshot I heard was from this video? Yes, which means that the murders really occurred at an earlier time than we thought. The excellent dots. It must have been during the recess, but before Detective Gumshoe was on guard duty. Someone who has no alibi for that time period and planned this crime out in advance. That person is the real killer. That was pretty easy. Mr. Edgeworth! Yes, what is it? Miss Yu is asking for you. She's in the courtroom. She says that she's identified the murderer, but she wants to clarify something.
It looks like Mrs. Yu is still investigating something.
Understood. Please tell her that I will be right over. Come along. I want to hear what she has to say. It would appear that the time has come to uncover the truth.
To be continued now?
Oh. I say all like that because as of right now, I got a really late start today. Really late start. It's 8:13 and I haven't done any of my videos. And I was hoping that the end of the checkpoint would be at about the 40-minute mark, because then I could probably just call early and stop at a good stopping point. But now I can't stop because it's only been about 25 minutes. So, who cares? I'm having fun. You're probably having fun. We want to know more, Ace Attorney. Press on, I say. Yeah, it just means I'm gonna have to be up late tonight, but that's all right. We need sleep. Sleep's overrated. Well, I haven't eaten dinner yet, so I've got hungry, but whatever. September 10th, 6:15 p.m., District Court Courtroom number 3. Old-fashioned showdown here? With us on, with the characters on the stands? Hi, Kay! Kay, what are you doing here?
Oh, hello, mister.
I'm still investigating. But the object you're looking for has already... Okay, don't mind him. Please continue with your investigation.
Okay, you got it.
Detective Bad, haven't we already found what you were looking for? Well, if it means I can keep in the dark just a little longer, any little task will do.
Oh, you're more sympathetic than I thought.
Oh, look at this! This is a classic right here. Oh, this looks great! I love it!
I've been waiting for you, Edgeworth.
I've also been waiting for the moment which we can finally lay rest to this case. You know she did it, right? Like, is there any world in which she didn't do it? I mean, I could still be surprised, but... The moment in which I can finally lay this case to rest! Wasn't that when we placed Detective Gumshoe to rest? See, she set up Gumshoe, is what she did. I think we saw more than saw this case already, don't you?
We'll see. It all depends on whether or not you like codes. Oh, I see. We even have a viewer in the gallery, and why, even Mr. Bad is here. A viewer in the gallery? I'm hardly just a bystander.
I have a duty, to see this case through to the end, no matter how it turns out,
Uh-oh. Well, is that right? Anyway, I thought you might like to hear what I've slaved away to find out. I taken statements on every single person's movement during the time when our suspect was in the hallway. I also confirmed that there is no possible route of escape from lobby number 2. Therefore, the killer must without a doubt be Detective Gumshoe.
And that's all you have?
Yeah, that's all there is to my conclusion and this case.
Sorry, but I beg to differ. In a trial, there is always time for rebuttal, and we are standing in a court of law. It'd be more than appropriate to follow the rules of court in this case, don't you think?
How absolutely like a rookie to think such a thing! But alright, I'll play along and give you a proper testimony.
If my logic is correct, then I've already won. All I have to do now is to prove it by showing who the real killer is. Let's do it.
Everyone saw as the suspect have an official alibi for when the gun went off. Furthermore, areas around the crime scene have all been thoroughly investigated, right? I also confirmed that there is no possible escape route from lobby number 2, which leaves us with only one unshakable conclusion: that Detective Gumshoe is the killer!
So that first point I need to attack, right?
Now that you have your testimony, I expect a good rebuttal, Edgeworth.
But of course, there is no need to confront her logic head on right now. I should have said focus on drawing out any trump cards she has up her sleeve. Yeah, I'm not gonna attack the first thing anyway. Even though I am hungry, I never want to compromise a playthrough by just skipping through stuff because I want to finish it. I'm always gonna try to do it correctly. That's what I promise you guys. I'm always gonna try. And when I don't do that, call me out and say, hey, Flightless, you jumped the gun. I mean, if I do it accidentally like I have before, like sometimes when I'm pressing through, he'll say, you know, should I attack this? And I say yes before clicking through everything. That's a little bit different. But I'm not just gonna go to what I think and just give the answer. The suspect, but I thought that Detective Gumshoe's alibi has already been proven.
You're joking, Edgeworth?
I assure you, this is no joke.
Look, I know how you heard from the judge earlier that the detective was in the hallway with Mr. Faraday's daughter eating a Swiss roll.
Yes, that is correct.
But see, that was 20 minutes before the real gunshot went off, right? And the problem is, there's no one else who could corroborate what he did since the stacking.
I see she's done her research well. Which means that I should focus on drawing out whatever trump card she's withholding.
Furthermore, the areas around the crime scene have all been thoroughly investigated, right?
Whether they have been thoroughly investigated or not is for me to decide.
The Scrooge eyebrows aligned to point it back! Anyway, even if you believe it has been exhausted, the crime scene lobby number 2 has no way out other than the hallway Detective Gumshoe was standing in. And because he claimed to be there, that makes him the only possible suspect.
But isn't it also possible that someone escaped through a window and into the garden?
Well, that's the first place everyone looks silly. The police aren't a bunch of lazy bums. They looked into every possibility, you know? Isn't that right, Mr. Bad?
Yeah. There wasn't a scrap of evidence to suggest someone used one of the windows. There also weren't any footprints or anything in the courtyard garden. I suppose they really did check everything that could be relevant to the case. Is she really guilty? Like, could coaching have something to do with it as well? I'm still sticking with my guns.
I also confirmed that there is no possible escape route from lobby number 2.
Are you absolutely positive that there are no possible routes of escape?
Of course I'm sure.
And why are you so certain?
This is a courthouse, the place where criminals are brought to be judged. If there were an escape route, I'm sure every criminal would be using it to escape. It's just common sense. Miles Edgeworth, I suggest you use a bit more of it in the future.
Urgh.
Which leaves us with now only one unshakable conclusion: that Detective Gumshoe is the killer.
You may think it's unshakable, but to me, there are still too many unanswered questions. For example, who was it that placed the gun in Mr. Faraday's hand?
Would you think anyone's still wondering that? Detective Gumshoe probably had no idea which hand Mr. Faraday used to write with. Even if you know someone, it doesn't mean you'll know which hand they write with, right? I mean, I certainly don't care about that sort of thing. Ah!
Exactly, she doesn't care. I'm not about to let her get a rise out of me with such a flippant statement. I suppose we finally reached the end now. I already have my trump card ready, and all that remains is to play it. But before I do, I think I should inquire into a little something about her argument. You said earlier that you confirmed the alibis of every person other than the suspect. However, I don't recall either Francisco or myself speaking with you about this subject.
But there were witnesses. For you, there's your mentor who gave you an alibi.
I see.
And as for the little missy, she came to the courthouse during the recess. And she was stopped by a security guard at the end of the hallway. The guard looked at his sign and said he had to be this tall to enter and said, little missy, you're too small. But she gave him quite a whipping for that, or so I heard. The excluded doubts. I'm the daughter of Manfred Vakama. No signs will stop me. And I will not be forcibly stopped by a guard or bailiff or anyone else.
Wait, so basically the only reason Francisca bothered to show up today was because she found out that I was to be the replacement prosecutor. By the way, Miss Yu, so you see the rivalry, you know? What about everyone's alibis before Detective Gumshoe was assigned to guard duty?
What about them?
Have you looked into what people were doing during that span of time?
What kind of idiot do you take me for? It doesn't matter when the killer went into lobby number 2, from the time we heard the gunshot, to the time Mr. Ben and I arrived on the scene as we dashed in from lobby number 1. The only person who could have committed the crime was Detective Gumshoe.
Yes, let's talk about when you and Detective Bad heard the gunshot, shall we? I suppose that if we go by your logic, then Detective Gumshoe is the only one. However, what if the crime had occurred at an entirely different time than when the gunshot you heard went off? What then?
There's so many dots.
That gunshot was a trap meant to manipulate our perception.
Sadly, your explanation is very lacking, Edgeworth.
I didn't have time to finish.
The gunshot we heard in lobby number 1, care to explain how that could have been fabricated?
Yeah, the videotape.
That tape?
Yes, it's exactly what you think it is. This is the surveillance tape of Mr. Rell the prosecution presented in today's trial. This was loaded in the video player in lobby number 2. That was connected to the large television that had its volume turned all the way up.
You can't honestly mean that the sound we heard was a gunshot in the video?
But I do. Which leads me to my next point. The murders occurred much earlier when anyone heard the gunshot.
The estimated dots.
That's the only thing I could think of too. After committing double homicide, the killer took the surveillance video out from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag, turned the television's volume all the way up, and let the video to play. It played from the beginning. It would take 30 minutes for the gunshot sound to come on. And since we now know that this method of time manipulation is possible, it opens up the possibility that the killer is someone other than Detective Gumshoe. Hold on. I have to stop here. Is this plausible? Like, here's the thing. From 0 to 30, it took 30 minutes, right? The TV was at max blast. So wouldn't people hear other sounds? I guess it's plausible. I guess it's plausible because the thing is, even though you hear other sounds, you're in a courthouse. So even if you heard someone talking in the videotape, you probably wouldn't be able to distinguish it from someone else talking in the courthouse, right? So you wouldn't really get suspicious from that. And if the videotape had nothing until the guy was shot, then all you would hear was what? Like static? But the static may not be loud enough, even with the TV at its max volume, for someone to notice that there's a staticky object nearby. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think? Is this plausible? Or am I thinking too much into it? Anyway.
But of course, Mr. Prosecutor Edgeworth and Little Miss Von Karma already knew that much from the very beginning, right? Of course they knew. Didn't we, Miles?
Yes, of course. We knew about the soundproof quality of this courthouse's rooms. Of course, I'm not about to admit we had no idea until a little while ago.
That's right. If the rooms are soundproof, then we should not have able to hear it. And yet, we heard the gunshot clear as day.
And?
And? Well, that's it. The end of the story.
But it's not.
Huh?
How should I explain why she was able to hear a gunshot from a soundproof room? There was a whole lot. There is actually one common point between lobby number 1 and lobby number 2. And it is that despite the fact that both rooms have air conditioners installed, a window was open in each. So the air conditioner could have been blocking out the staticky noise, maybe?
Oh, the excavated dots.
Now we know that the window in lobby number 2 was opened by the killer. However, a window in lobby number 1 was also opened.
It's probably just coincidence that they were both open at the same time.
It was no mere coincidence, I assure you. Why was the window opened in lobby number 1? The answer is that a certain person did something to cause the window to be opened. And the person who triggered that action, that person is the real guilty party. The real killer in this double murder is Franziska Von Karma. I'm gonna do this just for fun. I mean, come on, you gotta see just for fun. This person is the real culprit behind this case.
What sort of nonsense? Be serious here, Miles Edgeworth.
Arrgh, that must not be the correct person. I'm sorry, I just had to. Yes. That person is a real guilty party. That person obviously is Callisto, you. Miss Callisto, you. I hereby formally indict you on the murder of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel. Oh, the excellent dots.
What? You indict me? Are you serious, Miles? Why do you think that she is the killer?
I don't understand the motive just yet, but of course I'm serious, because she is the only one who could have done it. Well, Miss Yu, do you still feel like laughing now?
Of course I do, Edgeworth.
My argument must not be tight enough yet.
Although I never thought things would spiral into this. But I'll have you know I'm enjoying this dance quite a bit. I guess this means it's time for my own rebuttal now, right?
Miss Yu's rebuttal.
You argue that the window was open. However, do you have proof that was I who did it? Furthermore, do you have proof that the tape was used in communicating the crime? Frankly, I'm just shocked at you going around accusing people of murder like this. Especially with logic as full of holes as yours.
This is where it really starts. And that would be a great place to stop, actually. That's like, this was like a message from on high. Hey, FlightlessBird, we're gonna give you a great stopping point, which you're gonna be able to pick up smoothly and go right into this in the next episode.
I want to say thank you all so very much. Sorry this episode is a little bit short today. Like I said, got a really late start. And, yeah, it's been a tiring couple of days. I think what's happening is the weather has shifted drastically in my area. And whenever the weather changes, I always feel not quite right. And I think that may be bothering me to some degree. Like, part of the reason I'm doing this late is because I kind of fell asleep when I got home, just exhausted. And yeah, I love you guys so very much. I did do Breath of Fire before this though, and that went about an hour and 10 minutes. So that may be it too. So like between Breath of Fire and this game, I went about 2 hours today, but yeah, I gotta stop it somewhere. Anyway, I'm battling now. It's easy for me to do. I will talk to you guys very soon. But until then, my dear, dear friends, so long and take care. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to comment on what you saw and what you'd like to see next. I always love to hear your thoughts. But before we go, please remember that you matter, and you are brilliant, and you are loved, and you should always be true to yourself. Never let the world tell you any different. Much love to you from your friendly, feathered, flightless bird.